John, blast off. Pichu! Dave, accelerate. Oh boy. Okay, we're flipping this now. What's mess? Boop. Dave, consult with Cal Sprite. Oh god. Cal Sprite. Ha 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 ha. Hee hee. Hoo hoo. Shut up. Ho ho. Ha ha. Hee hee. Hee hee. Ha ha. Ho. Oh god. No. Just. God damn it. Hee 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 hee. Ha ha. Hee hee. Ho ho. Hee hee. Please. Just once. Shut the hell up. Ho ho ha. Hee hee. Hee ho. Ho ho hee ha. Hee ha 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 ha. Shut up. Hee 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 ha ha. Ho ho. Hee hee hee. Shut. Ha ha hee hee ho. The. Ha ha hee hee ho ho. Fuck. Ha ha hee hee ho ho. Up. Cal Sprite. Face. Dave, pester Rose. Turntech Godhead began pestering tentacle therapists. That's it. I can't take it anymore. It was such a huge mistake prototyping Sepulchre with this useless, mind-numbing jackass. I'm going back. Already? What do you mean already? Shit took 4 goddamn months or something. I don't know. I'm losing track of how long it's been with all this time hopping. It just sounds like you're making a rash decision based on temporary aggravation with a laughing puppet. I thought we planned to progress as far as we could before you went back, to gather information and avoid repeating mistakes. What else is there to know? We lost. Can't finish the game with the dead here and which. We don't know if Jade is dead for sure. Yeah, well, she had a big fucking meteor bearing down on her, and we never heard from her again, or the trolls for that matter, after they tricked John into skipping way ahead and getting his ass handed to him by the Denzian. I guess once they managed to sabotage us, they were done with us, and since John died, he couldn't get Jade in on time, so... Whether she's alive or not, she's as good as dead from our perspective. One thing left to do is change all that. Are you sure you're ready? You'll remember the plan we discussed. There's not much to remember. I go back and tell John not to be an idiot and get trolled like some sort of such a gullible stooge. I don't know what he was thinking. Even we couldn't kill one of those things yet, with our higher levels and all our sick gear. It still seems hasty to me. Maybe I am just not as comfortable with time travel as you. Nah, it will be fine. Don't worry. After you go, what do you think will happen to me? Will I just cease to exist? I don't know. I mean, your whole timeline will, maybe. Maybe. Is there a chance it will continue to exist and I'll just be here alone forever? I'm not sure which outcome is more unsettling. The thing with time travel is you can't overthink it, just roll with it and see what happens. And above all, try not to do anything retarded. What do you think I should do? Try going to sleep? Our dream selves kind of operate outside the normal time continuum, I think. So if part of you from this timeline goes to timelines going to persist, that's probably the way to make it happen. Okay. And hey, you might even be able to help your past dream self wake up sooner without all this fuss you went through. I think the true purpose of this game is to see how many qualifiers we can get to precede the word self and still understand what we're talking about. The true purpose is to make a sprite that doesn't make me want to flog myself raw with my own brainstem. Anything else is gravy. If my past self can wake up sooner, maybe I'll be the one to visit you first this time. I'll fly by and remind you you're already awake and don't know it. Yeah, that'd be cool, I guess. I'm gonna go now. Good luck. Dave. Fuck no. Dave, reverse. Turn to Godhead begin. Okay. We've just read this. Yay. Wait, what? Don't go yet. Something's up. Ugh. Okay, it's me from the future. Huh? It's me. I just appeared from the future wearing a red suit. He says don't go or you're gonna die. Pfft, lame. What kind of gullible stooge do you think I am? He says, I don't know, gullible enough to trust elite speaking troll who wants you dead and strap on a rocket pack 'cause she said so. That is like some terrible April Fool's prank. But 13 days too late. Remember you were talking to the pranking master. Okay, that was probably the dumbest thing you have ever said just now. If future you is real, then why don't you let me talk to him? Do you hear what you're saying? Oh my god, this guy is me. If I get him to talk to you, you're just talking to me again. Jeez. Jesus, it proves nothing. Hold on, someone else is bugging me. Turn to Godhead, begin pestering ectobiologist John. Stop being a tool and unbuckle yourself from that piece of shit. If our friendship means anything, you'll listen to me and past Dave. This is future Dave, by the way. Wow, you're really pulling out all the stops for this stunt. Using your phone and computer at the same time to message me. You're kind of going through a lot of trouble, actually. I don't know why you're bothering with this. Yeah, exactly. Why would I bother? This sort of cornball horseshit is your cup of tea, not mine. Don't make me track you down through time and stop you in person. You can't track down through time what you can't catch. But you, oh god, did you just blast off? No. But that would have been totally sweet if I did just then. Okay, well, just don't. Okay, I'm turning this timeline over to past Dave and helping you all stay alive and do this thing the right way this time. Just stay on the goddamn ground for fuck's sakes. Okay, I guess. Boop. Boopity boopity boop. Bibbity bobbity fuck it. Here, get all this shit. Hey, Dave Sprite, sup? But you... This is stupid. Rose, Pastor Dave. Okay. Rose, prepare for nap. You bundle up your knittings into a cozy nest. You aren't all that tired, though. It's hard to imagine falling asleep without the luxury of Harley's narcolepsy. Future dream Rose, cease to exist. Boop. Dave Sprite, Troll GC. Turntide Godhead began trolling Gallows Calibrator. Don't talk to John anymore, he's an impressionable doofus. Your plan didn't work, I mean it did, but then suddenly it didn't. So you might as well quit trying. You smell like orange creamsicles. What? You're aliens? You're aliens. Do you even know what orange creams... Do you even have orange creamsicles? Of course, what kind of awful civilization wouldn't invent orange creamsicles? Not one I would want anything to do with. Okay, pretty far-fetched, but whatever. No more hijinks from you, because I'll make sure they won't work. Well, obviously, I knew it wasn't going to work. My friends have been talking to John from the future, your future, where he's not dead. So there was no way that what I did was going to kill him. I just wanted to mess with him and stuff. I don't think you're following. You did kill him, sort of. Then I went back in time to stop him. Yeah, I guess there was a chance something like that might happen. Alright, but did you guess that by trolling John to his grave and making me splinter us off into an alternate timeline, that you were basically complicit in making our timeline go the way it was supposed to go all along, where future me is now helping Dave and we just keep playing. And our actions ultimately lead to the trouble you're all in now, thus leading you all to troll us incompetently. No, I didn't think of that. Yeah, see, none of you ever thinks anything through. Who's in charge of timeline management there? I gotta give him the business. She doesn't want to talk to any of you and has some misgivings about this whole thing. Not all of us are that enthusiastic about trolling you guys, and the ones who are sort of suck at it. Well, at least you got John to off himself, so I guess you're not totally incompetent like the others, like that awful rapper. So John actually did what I said. Yeah, I'm telling you, huge pushover. He will do what you say, unless it happens to be for his own good. Then all of a sudden he's a tough nut to crack or figure out. Well, now I feel kind of bad. Are you sure I can't talk to him even if it's just to apologize? Would that be okay with you, Sir Brave Knight? Yeah, that's fine, I guess. No more coy bullshit antics, though. Not even like an idiotic, angry, weaking emo. Or what? You're going to hunt me down through time? Oh no! Yeah. You do realize I'm way higher on the ladder than you, even if you are from the future. Are you sure you want to get your clock cleaned by a blind chick? Okay, even if that's true, I just merged with an impaled orange goddamn bird, and now I got all these crazy powers. Ugh. Self-prototyping, so dumb. This is why you all screw up so bad, always bending the rules like that. Oh well, can't stop you now, so might as well drop it. Hey Dave, what? I've been researching some of your Earth soap operas. Is this you? I don't know, is it me? Oh, Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to 0. Oh, Gigas. Fuck no. Who would that breathtaking douchebag remind you? Why would that breathtaking douchebag remind you of me at all? But he has a fiery personality, sort of brash and impetuous, and in your face, like fire itself. Now I know you're bullshitting me. Do I seem like the kind of guy who would accept a magic ring from Whoopi Goldberg to awaken some egregious homo fantasy for a ripped blue dude's mammoth eco-friendly bulge? That guy is an asshole and needs to be sealed in a duffel bag and whipped something ungodly with a bamboo shoot. Who's Whoopi Goldberg? Who cares? Okay, I made some modifications. Is this you, Dave? Come on, admit it. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, that is pretty much fucking spot on. You're actually a pretty good troll. As long as you don't bug John, I guess that's all there is to say on the matter. Thanks, Dave. I'll be fair. To be fair, I'm sure every one of us wishes we thought of future self-prototyping first, so you're not really all that terrible. Dave Sprite, chill with Dave. I love Dave Sprite. But Dave Sprite's Dave. Who were you talking to? To? Just telling a troll to step off. Okay, cool. So, now that you're a sprite, you know everything about the game. Well, I knew a lot anyway, because I'm from the future, but yeah, I know more stuff now, like things meant specifically for sprites to clue players in on, but packaged in these, like, I guess riddles. I'm supposed to be cagey about it, but I don't really feel like it. Ask me anything. Go ahead, I'll give you a straight answer. Alright, here goes. Why are we so fucking awesome? That's the best fucking question anybody's ever asked. Yes, so, is everything cool with this John business? Is he gonna be okay? That's up to him. If he decides to wise up and listen to us, if not, then we just bail everyone out yet again. Okay. All that gear you picked up should let you breeze through the first couple of gates, even at the low level. Later, you'll unlock the ability to bring your sprite down with you, and well, take care of that shit together. Till then, I guess just mess around and let Jade build or whatever. I'll go kill some time. Maybe draw some comics. Like what? I don't know. What's the last one you did? I was in the middle of the Nacho Party arc. Oh yeah. I gave that up on the halfway through. Yeah, that was sort of the plan. Making a 10-part story about nachos was always a bullshit idea. Let's do some brainstorming later. Blow everyone's mind. Yeah, sure. Fist bump. Meanwhile, hundreds of pages ago, you open the package. There's something suspicious inside. Something suspiciously dirty and smelly. It is a stuffed bunny, much like the one held hostage briefly by Malkovich's Cyrus the Virus. Oh my god, why is it? Put the bunny back in the box. Boop. course, while taunting hard luck protagonist Cameron Poe and striking similar to the one scooped up from the suit of a burning Vegas strip by Cage's Poe and offered to his daughter a gesture symbolic of a tattered exterior surrounding a heart of gold. Poe wasn't much to look at, but he was a good man. But no, it is not merely like that bunny. According to this note of authenticity, it is the very same bunny. This is so awesome. Included as note from your best bro, Dave. Boop. So hey, since it's your B-Day, I had to get you back for the Sycamore memorabilia. You got me, so I got you this god-awful thing, and now I just know you're standing there flipping your shit, so over it, so you're welcome. It's the actual gross bunny in the movie, so that means Nick Cage actually grubbed it up with his clownish, no-talent fingers. I would suggest you put it somewhere and display it ironically, but I know you're dead serious about this ridiculous shit, so you'll probably sleep with the damn thing and nibble its ears and stuff. But the weird thing is that what's cool about you, you're the naive guy like Pinocchio tumbled ass backwards off the turnip truck and started liking Ghostbusters. Then the fairy godmother kissed your nose or some shit and you turned out to be not made of wood and also pretty cool to talk to. One day your gooberish ways are gonna land you in a jam and I know I'm going to have to get you off the hook, but it's cool, I got your back, bro. Then we'll meet and hug, bump, and get each other's filthy wife beaters that much filthier, so yeah. Peace, dog. TG. I'll bet you to reconsider. John, get pestered by Dave. Did you blast off like a spazzy douche yet, or what? Yeah, of course. There was no way I wasn't trying out this sweet ride. God damn it! What do I have to do to make you believe me? Fist bump my future self till I got bloody knuckles and write you an even sappier B-Day note in my own blood on a Back to the Future poster. Relax, I'm not going through the gate. I'm just flying around and having a good time in the sky. Oh, okay, so you believe me then. About future me. And like him turning into a floating sword bird? Okay, I don't know anything about that. But it doesn't matter. You're my best bro, and if you say no to going, then I won't go. Hey, can you hold on? I'm getting trolled again. Oh man. And if we've just concluded anything, it's that talking to those D-bags should be priority number 1. So yeah, go right ahead. Okay, BRB. John, get trolled by CG. I keep scrolling backwards through your adventure, trying to piece together how you botched this up so badly, and I keep finding these striking pockets of foolishness. Like what you're doing now, riding your little red rocket. Like you are a freshly hatched human larva, and this is just a big school hive rumpus respite. Humans aren't hatched as larvae, dummy. We don't hatch at all. We are born as these little pink monkeys called babies. Bullshit. That's not what you just told me. What did I say? I'll paste what you said. I thought you didn't like going down that road. Copy pasting future / past conversations. Why would I have a problem with that? I don't know, that's what you just told me. Whatever. Look. EB, this is really weird. CG, what's so weird about it? Well, normally humans hatch from like these slimy pods, then we wiggle out as little pink larvae. Oh, really? Huh? We have more in common than I thought. I was punking you, dude. Or at least I will be in our next conversation. Thanks for the great prank idea. Ugh, why would you trick me like that? What is even the point? I don't know, it was just a friendly prank. Don't you ever play pranks? I mean, of course you do. One of you just tried to prank me. Good. What? Who? Pfft, you'll find out. Well, fine. I guess you got me back, sort of, for my trolling, even though you haven't even read my worst trolling efforts yet, because they happen in your future. And even then, you didn't even mind much, almost like you were delighted to hear it. Kind of perverse, really. What's wrong with you? Well, we're friends by then, aren't we? Or sort of like, reverse anti-mutual friends? What the hell does that even mean? Look, you're gonna have to face it at some point that you're learning the meaning of this human emotion called friendship. Is friendship really an emotion? Yes, absolutely. I guess it's hard to see how we became friends. This is so frustrating. Every time I go further back into your past and talk to you, you say stuff that pertains to my immediate future. And then you won't explain to me what's going on because it's already old news for you. Dude, you've been doing the same exact thing. I have done no such thing. I have been exceptionally informative and helpful, if justifiably acrimonious. You never answer my questions, though. How am I supposed to know what's going on or what you're alluding to? This game is kind of a game of a million guides. Everywhere you turn, there's another way to figure out what's going on. So please go secrete me an earth river through your strange human tear ducts. You've got sprites, exiles, guardians, consorts, time-hopping future self, mystical dream, oracle doppelgangers, and if that wasn't enough, your particular group of players is lucky enough to have us to give you the scoop of stuff. Though a sort of subversion of the whole damn thing, even though we hate you, and even though the fact that we hate you, it is a immutable fact as unalterable as this rising knotted hell of a timeline choking us to death. It does not mean we have any reason to withhold any information from you or dish it out through crypto-baffling mind fuddlery. So go ahead, ask me anything. Okay, what's the point of the game? Ask something else. I already told you that. It was this whole big conversation we had. Ugh, fine. Where are you now? In the medium, a separate section from yours. No, I know that. You already told me that. I did. Yes, in your future. Damn it. What I mean is, are you in your house right now, or in one of your magical lands, or what? Just curious, because you can see me, but I can't see or know anything about you. We're hiding in the veil. What's left of it? What's that? It's a huge belt of meteors orbiting away outside Gaia beyond the orbit of the planets, dividing the medium from the furthest ring where Durs orbits. Durs, the dark planet, prospers the light one near Gaia. Well, geez, how am I supposed to know any of this? You'll probably find out sooner or later from your dumb grandma, but by fusing with the sprite, she has to withhold stuff and be mysterious and all, to make your adventure seem magical. It's infuriating. Okay, so the veil is a bunch of meteors. What do you mean, what's left of it? Okay, there comes a time when black inevitability beats white. On the battlefield in the center of Gaia, the White King is captured or killed or something. That's when the reckoning starts. Okay, The rulers of Durst, the Black King and Queen, get the power to send the veil towards Gaia to destroy it. That kind of starts your big countdown, where shit gets serious. So then it's up to us to save it. Yeah, you have that long to kill the Black Queen and King, and Gaia itself sort of buys you some time by activating its defense portals to catch some of the meteors. The threat gets bigger the longer you take, though. Smaller meteors come first, and then they get progressively bigger and bigger. And there's only so much of them Gaia can absorb for you. Okay, but it sounds like we've got plenty of time before that happens, right? That's just it. You don't. Ordinarily you would, but your reckoning starts much sooner because of some dumb things you've done. You completely blew it already, and you have no chance of winning anymore, which ordinarily would be fine, just another bunch of losers to fail at this game. It's what you do later that causes so much more trouble than that, and now we have to deal with it too. Oh no, what is it? Already told you it's inevitable and completely pointless to talk about anyway. Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Maybe there's something we can still do to stop it if you just help us. I am not wrong. It is all right here, in front of me. You fuck up royally and end of story. Okay, well, see me about that, Mr. Sourbulge. Hey, aren't you kind of uncomfortable sitting on a meteor? Are all of you huddled in a crater or something? No, there's all the kinds of crazy shit in the Veil. A lot of these meteors are kind of like big seeds. Seeds? Well, what kind of crazy shit is there? Stuff like buildings, facilities, like labs and stuff? Weird. Yeah, the Veil is kind of like a neutral ground for the kingdoms, like our planets. Some places are used to genetically engineer soldiers and agents for the two sides, using genetic material from the exotic mineral of chess pieces on the battlefield to help fuel the war and keep raising the stakes. Wow, I don't think I'm following this. Yeah, no shit. But you'll find when you get there, since you were in the Veil when we last talked. Anyway, that's more than enough info for you to think about and be less stupid in time for conversations we've already had. I'm out of here. Okay, but wait. Can you give a message to GC for me? Tell her nice try. What? Why would I give her a message for you? Do it yourself. I'm not a relay service. Oh well, I thought you'd be cool with it since you asked me to give her a message for you last time, but whatever. I find that highly implausible. I am not falling for any more of your human pranks. Nice try, John, ha 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 ha. Carcinogeneticists. Trolling ectobiologists. Boop. Boop. Remember of the midnight groove. last time? With Homestuck? Boop. I have read the meat spoilers. Or, not the spoilers. I've read the meat epilogues. I haven't read the candy epilogues yet. Um, I've been meaning to go and read the candy epilogues, but I am planning on doing that on stream because I decided I wanted to read all of Homestuck all the way through to the epilogues, so that's good to hear that you're doing good. Locate fourth wall. Boop, boop, boop. Activate. Come on. Excuse me. I've been drinking Mountain Dew, voltage, so I kind of have burps. And I'm burping up like pizza. AAH, engage in highly indulgent self-assertion and two-story. What? Oh, hell no. This is always such a terrible idea. Leave me alone. AH, examine wall. You really wish your side of the wall had an off switch. Which is to say, I really wish my side of the wall had an off switch. AH, forget it, go back to work. Okay, you're just going to ask me to recap Homestuck, though. I don't know why you want to sit there and watch me type. This is going to be pretty long. AH, recap first year of Homestuck. Homestuck began on April 13th, 2009, the 13th birthday of our chief protagonist and future Boy Scout John Egbert. 3 days prior was supposed to be the day he received the Spurt Beta in the mail. But it was running late. It showed up later that afternoon, and after overcoming a variety of domestic adversaries, he retrieved the game along with a birthday package from his internet friend, Dave Strider. Do you have any favorite characters in Destilica 70? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. John soon established a game connection with another friend, Rose Lalonde, who spent the day badgering him about playing with her after unsuccessfully attempting to convince Dave to play. Upon connecting, Rose was able to manipulate John's environment, move his furniture around via cursor, and restructure the shape of his room. John was unable to do this to Rose's environment, however. He installed the client copy of the beta and required the server copy for that. The server copy was trapped in his dad's car along with a birthday package from another friend, Jade Harley. Jade messaged John inquiring about the package. As of this moment, neither her package nor the server copy has been recovered by John. Rose had also prepared a package for John but had not mailed it yet. It still sits in her room. Dave's package contained the authentic stuffed bunny from Con Air. In addition to allowing Rose to control John's environment, Spurb provided an array of devices Rose deployed throughout John's house. These devices, used together, provided a system by which the players could manufacture any item using the code on the back of that item's captcha card, if they gathered enough grist to pay for it. Later, they would learn to combine item codes to master the art of punch card alchemy, whereby items could be fused in purpose and design. One device, on being activated, began a countdown and released an entity called a kernel sprite. The countdown ticked down to the moment John's house would be struck by a meteor, destroying his neighborhood. To escape this demise, John had to use the device to manufacture a special item that looks like a blue apple and take a bite of it. In order to transport his entire house just before impact to the safety and mysterious dark realm where his house would situate itself atop a tall rock column high above a blanket of clouds. This realm is called the Medium. Before he entered the Medium, John and Rose prototyped his Colonel Sprite with the large Harlequin doll his dad got him for his birthday, transforming the sprite to bear its likeness, including the ways the doll was disfigured via earlier hijinks. It had a slashed eye and one arm, and so too did the sprite. When John entered the Medium, the sprite's kernel hatched, thus imbuing all the enemies John and his friends would face with properties of the sprite. The lesser adversaries John faced first, Shale Imps, all wore Harlequin garbs. They became more powerful and more radically mutated with each successful pre-medium prototyping. After entering the Medium, John's dad was kidnapped by imps. While John was looking for him, he accidentally prototyped the sprite with his grandmother's ashes, transforming it again. This prototyping had no effect on the enemies, since he was already in the Medium, and the kernel had already hatched. Instead, only the sprite was affected, and it took the appearance, personality, and memories of his grandmother, becoming Nana Sprite, a game-supplied, albeit customized guide for John. She explained aspects of the game about Skya residing at the center of the Medium, beyond 7 gates floating directly above his house, and about an eternal/timeless war fought there between dark and light, one that light was always destined to lose. Rose, who had been having frequent internet connection issues, lost her connection as she tried to lift John's car to retrieve the game and the package. The car fell into the abyss below. A storm caused her house to lose power along with its wireless internet connection. Her laptop was able to run on battery power for a time. While she tapped into the wireless signal from the laboratory next door, when her laptop ran out of battery, she had to overcome more family strife and endured a gift pony in the process. Go outside in the rain and plug it into the small generator outside the mausoleum of her dead cat Jasper's. She continued her session with John inside the mausoleum while the meteor sparked forest fires surrounding her house grew more intense. From the house, Rose's mom opened a secret passage in the mausoleum to help her escape. The passage led to the lab next door, where Rose found a stable portable source of power and internet for her computer. She also found a terminal projecting the impact times and locations for the millions of meteors presently bombarding the planet, along with all the other live sessions of other players around the world. She also found a little girl's room, a mutant kitten she named Vodka Mutiny, and a cloning machine operating through the science of ectobiology. Its terminal was locked onto her cat Jasper's at whatever point in her life the user specified. She attempted to purify Jasper's from a moment in her early childhood before he whispered a secret to her, but doing so would have caused a paradox, so it paradoxified a pile of slime instead. The machine used the slime to create a fetal paradox clone of Jasper's in a glass tube. On the monitor, Jasper's then told young Rose the secret, then vanished, only to show up dead weeks later and put in the mausoleum for years until the present Rose left the laboratory moments before it was destroyed by a meteor impact. She transportalized back to her mom's room, proceeded to her room to wait for Dave to connect with her and rescue her from the next imminent impact. Dave was charged with acquiring his bro's copy of the game to help Rose. Earlier, he had lost his copy of the game in a mishap involving a crow. It flew in his window, seized the game, and Dave accidentally impaled it with his sword, sending the crow and the game out the window onto the landing far below his apartment. He searched his bro's room, unable to find it, and was briefly shadowed by Little Cow, and then found a note beckoning him to meet on the roof for a confrontation. Dave and his bro dueled on the roof extensively, and Dave was thoroughly bested. Beaten. Yep. Upon defeating Dave, his bro dropped the copies of the game and flew off on his rocket board into the sky. Dave used the copies to connect with Rose and quickly deployed the devices while her house was on fire, surrounded by flaming tornadoes and minutes away from being destroyed by a meteor. Rose prototyped her Colonel Sprite with Jasper specifically to understand the meaning of the secret he whispered to her years ago. She was advised to do this by Jade, who told her about the game in the first place. Dave then prototyped the Colonel Sprite again with the Tentacle Princess doll given to her as on her birthday by her mother. Both of these prototypings would have an effect on the enemies once Rose entered the medium and the Colonel hatched. Rose used the alchemister to create the special item for her, a purple wine bottle, which she needed to break to enter. She eventually did, transporting her house just before the meteor collided. The meteor left a crater. Over time, at the site of impact, a large white structure that looked like a wine bottle grew there, and the crater filled up with sand, and the climate of the post-apocalyptic Earth gradually changed. The cork of the bottle was a large metal cylinder with an interior much like an advanced science station, with a variety of devices and monitors inside. 413 years after the meteor impact, the wayward vagabond walked through the desert and discovered this station. Inside, he found canned rations, a firefly he named Serenity, and a purifier, and 4 monitors hooked up to a keyboard. On one of the monitors was John. Just after he'd entered the medium, WV could type commands to John directly, much as the readers of the story could type commands for the characters to follow. Most of John's actions upon entering the medium were authored by WV up till he became preoccupied with other activities. Ugh. Boop. Such as building a town out of cans, playing chess with cans, and drawing chalk murals depicting the cosmological arrangement of Skya, the medium, the light and dark planets known as Prospit and Durs, and the 4 planets the kids would each occupy upon entering the game, called the Land of Wind and Shade, John, the Land of Light and Raid, Rose, the Land of Heat and Clockwork, Dave, and Jade's planet, which is yet to be seen. He also activated a countdown in the station, which caused it to blast out of the crater and fly to designated home coordinates. Along the way, it passed over the sand-filled crater that was the impact site for John's meteor on the other side of the continent. John's meteor had caused a giant white tree to grow in the crater. The tree grew an apple-like station from a branch, which fell to the sand. The peregrine mendicant found the station after WV flew overhead. PM activated her station homing feature as well, which caused it to fly to the same destination. Along the way, she used her terminal to attempt to command Jade, who, from the perspective of the terminal, had just arrived in the medium. This caused the terminal to explode for unknown reasons, leaving a hole in the station. One of the station's robotic worms recovered one of PM's falling mailboxes, and she befriended it, after earlier slaying another one with her black regisword. WV landed at the site of the ancient frog ruins across the now dried-up Pacific Ocean. The site was once the island where Jade lived, but nothing of the island remained except for the ruins. The mountain her house was on and the volcano next to it were replaced by a large empty chasm. PM landed shortly after WV and they met. They were confronted by the aimless renegade, who fired at them from the frog ruins with old weaponry he had been hoarding, once belonging to Jade's grandpa. Millions of years ago, the frog ruins grew from a crater struck by a meteor that emerged from a spur portal in space. Jade's radioactive, omnipotent space warping dog named Becquerel, I'm calling him Beck, emerged from this crater as well. Jade's grandpa pioneered this island and built the house Jade lives in. Her grandpa has been dead for many years and stands stuffed in front of the fireplace. She has been looked after by her dog, who she calls Beck. She begins the day with several tasks to accomplish: to feed Beck and to retrieve a birthday package mailed by John. She irradiates a steak and heads outside to the site where the package will be dropped. She knows it will be dropped there because one of the reminders she wears on her fingers jogs her memory about it. She wears them to keep track of the many things she knows about the future through dreams. She falls asleep frequently and spontaneously. When she sleeps, her dream self is awake and living on the moon that orbits the light planet. Prospit very closely orbits Gaia, a huge sphere of blue sky and clouds which Nana describes as a dormant crucible of unlimited creative potential. When Prospit's moon eclipses Gaia, it drifts into Skya for a time, mingling with the clouds. Dream Jade then witnesses many past and future events in the clouds. While asleep, she is often confused about what is real and what isn't. When she wakes up, she pieces together future events from her memory of the cloud visions and from logs recorded by her dream bot. Her dream bot is a robotic surrogate that activates while she sleeps in her bed. It mimics in the real world the movement and actions of her dream self on the moon and records a video log of what she sees while dreaming. Prospit's moon has 2 towers of identical design and similar design to Jade's house. Dream Jade lives in one tower. Dream John lives in the other. Dream John is still asleep, and John has no knowledge of the dream world, which is to say the entire game session he would initiate on his 13th birthday. When he goes to sleep, and what is this one? Sorry, I gotta click it. Oh, it's gonna take me to Photo Bucket. Is it gonna work? Okay, that's interesting. Boop. When he goes to sleep instead of... Boop. Darn it. Let's go down, down. Okay. Which is to say the entire game session he would initiate on his 13th birthday. When he goes to sleep instead of waking up on the moon as Jade does, he remains slumbering in his dream room, tormented by his subconscious. This torment is expressed when he sleepwalks and draws troubling scribbles on the walls of his room. When awake, he cannot see the scribbles as his subconscious suppresses his awareness of them. It's not until he has a perception-altering revelation about his dad does he begin to see them. He initially believed that they were new additions to his room, perhaps scrawled by imps. However, they were present long before, visible in his room while he prepared Jade's birthday package months ago. John prepared a package for each of his 3 friends whose 13th birthdays were December 1st, Jade, December 3rd, Dave, and the 4th of December, Rose. He gave Rose a knitting set, and she then took an intense interest knitting. He gave Dave the pair of shades Ben Stiller wore in Starsky and Hutch, which he wore from then on, replacing the shades in the style his bro wore. He gave Jade a blue version of his own ghost shirt and some pumpkin seeds to help her replace the pumpkins that kept disappearing from her garden. But she did not receive this on the birthday John intended. She received it in the past on her birthday when she was very young, causing her to take an interest in gardening in the first place. Whoa, that was freaky. An interest in gardening in the first place, to take a liking to blue apparel, and to actually befriend John over the internet and led him, Rose, and Dave down a path where they will ultimately play the game together. Dave did retrieve his package in the present as planned, but immediately took it to another location where it disappeared. WV in the far future purified it from the location on accident. The package contained further instructions for him. He was to bring it to PM, and she was to use her station sendificator to send it to another place in time. After she did this, the package appeared in front of young Jade on her birthday. Jade orchestrated the sequence of events through knowledge of them by her cloud visions. She orchestrated similar events for the package she sent to John, plotting the circuit OS route through time and space it was meant to follow. She again utilized the Exiles for help while they were still in the medium. The Exiles, WV, PM, and AR were all formally agents of the kingdoms before they were exiled by some means to post-apocalyptic Earth. AR, as a authority regulator in the land of wind and shade, discovered the package and in the beta copy in John's wrecked car as he gave it a parking ticket. PM, working as the parcel mistress, recognized the package from a correspondence she had with Jade on Prospect some time ago and recalled it must be delivered to John. AR would not relinquish the package, though. He did give her the beta, which she delivered to a Pixis to satisfy the carved request of a mini tablet. John carved this tablet at the request of PM through the command terminal in the future. AR brought the package to Durst, where it ultimately wound up on the desk of Jack Noir. Jack is the Archangel. He's an Archangel now. Archagent of the Dark Kingdom, charged with overseeing affairs through his office. What the diddle? Fenestrated wall portals and processing paperwork. He is forced to wear a silly garment in keeping with prototyping themes by the Black Queen. Yep. An order he resentfully complies with. He oversaw the imprisonment of John's dad, who broke loose on multiple occasions. When Jack went to handle it personally, John's dad set Jack's hat on fire. In a surly act of gratitude, he released the prisoner. John's dad fled to the land of wind and shade, fought large monsters, got his hat dirty, and lost his shoe. He then carved tablet requests for new ones, which John filled via Pixis, unaware of who requested them. PM followed AR to Durst in hopes of retrieving the package. After wandering around, she encountered the Black Queen on her throne. Both the Light and Dark Kingdoms each have a king and queen. The queen sit on a throne on Prospect and Durst, respectively, ruling the planet. The king commands armies on the battlefield located at the center of Sky. The queen takes on the attributes supplied by the prototypings due to the four-orbed ring she wears. When the ring is removed, the queen is restored to normal. PM showed the Black Queen a parking ticket she was pretending to deliver. The Black Queen directed her to Jack's office, where the ticket should be filed. PM met Jack and asked for the package. Jack proposed a deal and gave her a black Registord. If she would kill the White Queen and White King and bring him their crowns, he will give her the package. She accepted with a little alternative. She then visited the White Queen on Prospect and explained the situation. With no intention of carrying out Jack's mission, the White Queen, understanding the futility of their situation and the need to recover the package, abdicated and gave PM her crown and her ring. PM was instructed to go find the White King, retrieve his crown, and receive further instructions on what to do with the ring to protect it. The White Queen would then eventually exile herself to post-apocalypse Earth. The post-apocalypse Earth, after AR fired on WV and PM from the ruins, he spotted WV's pumpkin, which WV had earlier purified from Jade's house. He recognized the carving of Beck's silhouette on the pumpkin. Fearful of it, he surrendered. The three exiles soon became friends over a campfire and shared rations. WV and AR built Exile Town out of cans, mailboxes, and bullets. PM operated WV's station terminal to submit commands to John as he explored the land of wind and shade. In the sky, another station teleported and fell to the ground. It was shaped like an egg and originated from Dave's meteor impact site in correspondence with the egg-shaped item he would use to enter the medium. Emerging from this station was the Winsip Questet, formerly the White Queen. AR and WV sought to impress the White Queen by crafting a crown for her out out of a mailbox. She refused the distinction, instead giving it to PM, who had successfully completed her mission to deliver Jade's package to John in the distant past. The means by which she went about this have yet to be seen. John entered the land of wind and shade, Lowas, by having Rose built up his house to the first gate, fighting through many imps and ogres with his powerful new alchemized weapons, and entering the gate. This took him to a location beneath the clouds, far below his house. The Lowas turned out to be a large windy planet full of dark terrain, iridescent trees, networks of pipe, and oily rivers. In addition to hosting more powerful adversaries, the land is occupied by friendly consorts, a race of salamanders. They help John understand the mythos of the land and inform him of the planet's persecution by a sleeping denizen, which is responsible for clogging the pipes with oil and trapping fireflies under the clouds. Each planet has a sleeping denizen, which the players must first wake and then kill in the course of their journey through the 7 gates. Rose Planet, the land of light and rain, LOLAR, is a multicolored ocean planet with white sandy islands and pink ruins, and has a denizen responsible for killing all life in the water. Dave's Planet, the land of heat and clockwork, LOHAC, is a lava planet covered in industrial steel, frame structures, and turning gears, and has a denizen of yet unknown qualities. Killing the denizen releases a huge gross horde buried at the core of the planet, which is then used to fuel a process known as the ultimate alchemy. The ultimate dark! No, I'm just kidding. That is a thing, though. I will be the ultimate Pokemon Master. I'm sorry. Cold. It is cold. I get cold easily. It is cold. Along the way, the kids are meant to learn about their destined roles in their quest as the Hero of Breath, John, Seer of Light, Rose, Knight of Time, Dave, and Witch of Space, Jade. Over the course of the quest, the Dark Kingdom will inevitably defeat the Light Kingdom. The Black Queen and King will take control and initiate the reckoning. This affects a belt of meteors called the Veil, which orbits far from Skya between the 4 planets and Durst, and is host to various lab facilities used by the kingdoms. The reckoning causes the meteors to descend on Skya, ultimately destroying it unless the Black Queen and King are defeated in time. Skya, however, buys time by opening defense portals to catch many of the meteors, redirecting them elsewhere in space and time. This is the generic template for the way the game is supposed to proceed. It can deviate from this model, however, depending on the actions of the players, and the details of the game mythology presented is unique to each group of players in their sessions. Long before John and his friends started playing the game, another group of players had been persistently trolling them, particularly Jade. They are furious about an action she will take that will cause major problems in the 4 kids' game session and inevitably lead to their defeat. Specifically, Jade will send a package to John, apparently containing a powerful weapon he will need later, but the package winds up in the hands of Jack Noir, leading to dire consequences. They allude to other things she will do that will lead to not only trouble for the 4 kids, but the troll players as well. The trolls consist of 12 kids from an alien planet who went through the same process as John and his friends, escaping from the annihilation of their planet via meteors, and into the medium to play the game. Their game session is entirely separate from that of the 4 kids. It has the same basic template with its own sky of Prospector's Vale and planet for each troll, but separate game instances of these. They also have different instances of the same character templates, such as the kings and queens and agents like Jack Noir. Their trolls have completed their game session with yet unknown results. They are now reside on a meteor in their Vale, sitting at terminals trolling John and Co. From their terminals, they can choose any point in the past or future of the kids to troll and observe what they're doing at the moment. As a group, their only stated objective is to harass the kids, which they do so haphazardly throughout different points in the kids' timeline. Though they can choose at any point on the kids' timeline to talk, they are mostly resigned to the understanding that no matter what they do, they cannot change the outcome of the kids' actions. The four most ferocious trolls so far have been Carcinogenesis, Gallus Calibrator, Grim Oxylatrix, and Adios Torodoro. The other 8 being Apocalypse, Arson, Twin Armageddons, Arsenic, Catnip, Archinus Grip, Centaur's Testicle, I said tentacle, Eternally Carparus, Capricorus, Caligulus Aquarium, and Cuddler Fish Colder, each yet to be heard. Carcinogenesis CG appears to have spearheaded the group's trolling campaign. While he was in the thick of his game session, the exile commanding him from a terminal in the apocalyptic future was Spade Slick. This is one difference between his game session and John's, who had a WV as an exile commanding him. In CG's session, his version of Jack Noir became exiled along the way and took to the name Spade Slick. 3 other agents were exiled, and the 4 of them formed a gang called the Midnight Crew, and spent years building up a dark city in the future wasteland of the Trolls' dead planet. Another difference in the Trolls session is that at some point along the way, the Black Queen was also exiled. Later joined a rival gang called the Felt, assumed special powers that make her highly inadvisable to kill, and came to be known as Snowman. It was not until Slick confronted the Felt in their mansion that he discovered the station terminal to command CG, and not before. Snowman blinded him in one eye, severed his arm, and locked him in a vault. Each troll has a different trolling strategy and a different rhythm by which they hop around the kids' timelines to chat with them. CG's strategy, for the most part, was to begin trolling them at the very end of their adventure, the moment at which he was most angry with their actions, and then gradually work backwards, mostly talking to John. This proves to be mutually frustrating, though, as John knows less and less about the situation the further into the past CG goes. Similarly, the further into the future John progresses, the more he has the advantage over CG by knowledge of his future conversations with him and vice versa. Over the course of the opposing directions of the 2 sides of the conversation, John learns more about the nature of the game and why they're being trolled, and in spite of hostility, they gradually befriend each other through an inevitable inevitability alluded to on both sides of the conversation, easily in the correspondence between John and CG, which is to say late for CG. CG discovers he needs to get in touch with Jade, who refuses to talk to him in that time period. So he delivers a message to her much earlier, months in her past, telling her she needs to contact him when she's in trouble. She will know to do this when her dream bot explodes in the future, and an outcome that has yet to happen. Two other trolls, Grim Oxalitarius and Audios Toradora, GA and AT, have targeted only Rose and Dave thus far. GA has hopped arbitrarily back and forth in Rose's timeline to talk to her and is attempting to cultivate a friendship with her that now seems rigged through a series of conversational time loops while seeking counsel from Dave on how to befriend her. AT sought counsel from Rose on how to troll Dave more effectively after getting severely counter-trolled by him. He is under the impression he rebounded nicely, though. Gallows Calibrator has stayed mostly linear in her trolling patterns and has done so under the guise of helping the kids on their quest. She convinces John to take a shortcut through his land, shows him the Denizen's Palace leading The Denizen's Palace leads him to warp back to his house, then allows him to fix the faulty rocket pack he made earlier through an alchemy mishap. She tells him to use the rocket pack to fly up to the 7th gate, enter the Denizen's palace, and kill it in its sleep. He complied with this and flew through the 7th gate in spite of reservations from Dave, who just entered the medium the moment before John took off. GC also assisted Rose just after she bested an ogre with ease. She counseled her on understanding her role as the Seer of Light and the meaning of the voice in her head as an exile issuing commands from a terminal. In her case, it was the exiled White Queen issuing commands from the H-shaped station in the future. Since Dave is Rose's server player, the terminal station from Dave's impact site issues commands to Rose, just as the station at Rose's site, which WV found, issues commands to John, her client player. After conversing with GA, Rose found Jasper's threat and interrogated him about the secret, which she found so maddeningly mysterious years ago. He explained elements of the mythos of her land and learned how she need to learn to play the rain to produce the musical analog of a genetic code to reintroduce life into the ocean. In response to her question about his secret, he simply replied, "Meow." She mistook this for more nonsense, but it was in fact the secret he told her years ago. The 4-letter sequence, meow, unlocked a genetic code in her subconscious, which she would spend years scrawling on her wall, using these letters to play in place of the typically used G-cat letters, which completely oblivious to the scrawlings and their meaning, just as John was. As Jasper said, she would understand her meaning when her dream self wakes up. Rose's dream self lives in a tower on the moon of Durs. Dave's dream self lives on the same moon in the other tower. It was suggested by Rose's future self, who is fully awake in the tower, that Dave had already been awake in his tower all along without realizing it. This was suggested in a conversation she had in the future with Dave. It was an alternative future timeline not meant to be. This future timeline came about by this series of events. Dave was able to enter the medium by connecting with Jade as his server player. Jade got copies of the game from the Frog Ruins after she delivered John's package to her past self. She snuck into the ruins while Beck was asleep. and retrieved the game from a Lotus time capsule which had been ticking down for millions of years. The game was Dave's copy from the future, and the same one that fell out the window with the impaled crow. When she got the game, the time capsule started ticking down again, set to expire 413 years later, when the exiles are there. She dropped some items in the ruins, leaving them there for AR to find and leaving her base jammed in the elevator. Beck then found her there, took her back to her room, and grounded her there for the rest of the evening. Jade quickly helped Dave set up the game, upgrading his alchemeter heavily and crafting the special item he needed to enter the medium, a red egg, which needed to be incubated and hatched to activate. She prototyped his kernel sprite with the impaled crow, which would affect the enemies later, including the Black Queen. The sprite built a nest on top of his apartment's antenna tower and stole the egg to incubate it for hours. A very large meteor was soon bearing down on his city. Dave then entered the medium through a series of unseen events. Jade was asleep, thus forbidden by Dave from interacting with his environment at all. Jade complied for fear of retribution. Dave was faced with the crow sprite, which appeared to be suggesting he prototype it again with the remains of the locale. Dave consulted with John on this, who was about to rocket up to the 7th gate. John had no advice and proceeded up through the gate against better judgment. Dave prototyped the sprite with locale. John entered the palace, presumably found the denizen, and was easily killed by it, as with the intent of GC's trick on him. This meant John could not establish a connection with Jade to rescue her from the looming meteor, and Dave and Rose lost contact with her, presuming her dead. Dave and Rose then spent the next 4 months in the medium, advancing as far as they could to collect information before Dave decided to travel back in time to change events. Dave used his timetables to go back to the moment he was about to prototype with Cal. Both he and his past self strongly urged John not to go through the gate. John was reluctant at first, but soon reconsidered and flew down beneath the clouds. Future Dave then gave present Dave all of his advanced gear and prototyped the crow sprite with himself to make Dave sprite, thus serving as his own guide from the future. Before going back in time, Future Dave convinced Future Rose to go to sleep. He suggested her dream self would be unaltered by the timeline shift, and in her dream state, she would remember the events from the future. Ultimate self! When Dave went back, Rose's future dream self assumed the position of Rose's present dream self. Rose fell asleep, and on Dursa's moon, she instantly woke up. She then saw all of the genetic scrawlings she did in meow letters and understood their meaning. Meanwhile, on Durst below, the Black Queen again insisted that Jack Noir abide by the dress code. He refused, and the Queen threatened him. He picked up John's package to John, removed what was inside, and used it to slice her ring finger off. He then killed the Black Queen, put on the ring, and donned the full upgrade supplied by the 3 prototypings. He then became Jack Spears Noir Lacroix, which is the name I just made up. And then after that, you started watching me type. In this ridiculous study, I photoshopped for myself with my cool horse painting propped up in the background. Boop. I didn't read any of that. Do something less boring. MSPA readers, shut the hell up. Oh, that's terrifying. Retrieve arm from background. Huh? Oh, Cal, please, not now. Why don't you keep drawing Homestuck or something? Oh, but I don't merely draw Homestuck. Type Arrow, I'm not about to make a joke. I'm about to make a joke, okay? Arrow. I conjure this intrepid fantasyscape with tears bled from the wisdom, weary eyes of 50,000 imaginary magicians. I pull heavy drags from the brooms of inspiration with enchanting bellows marauded from a guild of churlish mythical dwarves. Vast bulbous brittle spiders push the silken strands of pure whimsy through hideous abdominal English abdominal spinnerets, and it is that with which I weave this atrocious cocoon of exquisite lies, and when it hatches, a great moth of titillation will awaken and roar and beat its wings, and the powder settling down will arrest the humors of an enormous, terrible old beggar, relaxing the vulturous leather vice grip he's fixed around your captive mind. Okay. Give me a second. Let me see this. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Hey, H, this is stupid. Stop being a wise ass and get drawing. Alright, it won't be that exciting to watch though. I'll pull up Photoshop again. Here's the file I was using for the fourth wall. What do you want me to draw? Can you show us what's going on with John again? Sure. How about if I drag the content from one of the John files under the fourth wall layer, so we can make a more graceful transition out of this ludicrous, highly disruptive self-insertion arc. AH, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, and then you can type something like switch walls view to show us what's going on with John. Here, I'll prepare the GIF file for that. It will just take a few seconds. So go ahead, say it. Switch walls view to show us what's going on with John. You decide that's entirely enough of that if this website becomes even more self-aware in a playful manner, self-depreciating yet weirdly self-aggrandizing manner. You're going to go drown a bag of puppies in a sewer. No! Don't drown puppies. I love puppies. Why would you do that? Why would you drown puppies? Puppies are so adorable and fluffy. Okay. I think I'm gonna end here. Because I'm tired and it's kind of late. It's like 10:42. But I'll read some more tomorrow and we'll be starting off from this part. Ugh. It's been a while since I read Homestuck, so it's kind of like I'm rereading it for like the first time, or reading it for the first time, and it's like, what the diddle? Like, I never realized like how much Dave cursed. But yeah, Thank you all for stopping in on my stream. I hope you guys have an awesome evening, and check out for if you want to hear more of me reading Homestuck. Be sure to drop